Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Are you okay? In your neck of
When we dry them up, too cold. Now go too deep, you know. Yeah, fair watch Joe, you know. Our troops, see there? Apple cider vinegar and our troops. Come up right, make them get saturated in the gravy and all of that.
Welcome to Jamas day number 1, 2021. And if you have been here from a few years back, I think this will be my 5th Christmas on YouTube, God's willing. So if you have been here from I think we started in 2018. I started YouTube 2017, but I think we started Jamas, 12 days of Jamas, and you would have known quite well if you have been here for a long time. But for those who are new, it is our way of doing, like, you know, some people do vlogmas and what they do. I do 12 days. Instead of saying Christmas, I say Jamas. I am a Jamaican, so I put jam and I leave off the Christ. So it's 12 days of Jamas where I upload a video every day. My regular time of uploading, you know, my regular time. And most of it is to show ideas of to do holiday meals and drinks and what have you. Maybe this year we'll drop in a few lives. We'll see how it goes. So welcome once more to another year of Jamas, day number 1, 2021. So now today I'm going to be doing for you meatballs in red pea stew or red bean stew. Meatballs in red peas stew. Now I have here some red beans that I have pre-cooked, not fully, just part of the way, because I will be doing the meatballs. I'll be making the meatballs, seasoning them from scratch, and I will be making the balls. I'll be browning off the balls, and I'll have them slow cooked down with the peas, bring it to a stew, adding a little peanuts and other little stuff here and there to make it a beautiful stew. Hence, here we go. So I have here my ground beef inside here. I have 3 eggs already there. What I'm gonna do, let me show you what I have over here. In my food processor right here, I have some celery, I have fresh thyme, I have garlic, I have some green bell peppers. You could use colored ones. Scallions, of course, is the order of the day, and some onions for chopping, and I have a little piece of Scotch bonnet pepper. I am going to use a little bit of this soy sauce. You could use a little Worcestershire. Do your thing. I'm just gonna use a little liquid to get the thing together. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna be doing, and the next clip I'll be right back. So this is my season from my food processor. Mind you, you could use whatever herbs you like. I just like to use these. These are some basic herbs where I know the flavors are all just so good. So you could use what you like. And mind you, I like a real seasoned meatball. I really don't like a meatball that is not properly seasoned. My meatball, I think that's the meat that I have a real passion for. Maybe I think sometimes I do over seasoning of my meatballs. So I have my, don't mind sometimes some of the scallions. You might not chop depending on the brand of these, what these stuff name? We call them, these food processors. I'm gonna put in here a little seasoned breadcrumbs just to, you know, and this is the sauce bosses. It is our dry jerk. I'm gonna put a little in there. Mind you, it's strong. It's just all dried herbs, and I will leave for you in the description the info on how to get on to her. So I'm gonna put a little of the sauce bosses dry jerk. Wow, that's it. Now I'm gonna be adding a little salt, and I have got to get my salt from now, right? Because this is meatballs. You're not gonna be able to add no more salt to it. And look, my basil is on the finishing, but I'm still gonna add a little bit of my basil. I think I've gone too much there. I think I went overboard with the basil. So I'm gonna just use my spoon to stir this in. I'm gonna stir it in some more, and I'm gonna return to you. Now I'm going to be doing something that some chefs, some cooks, or some other people might disagree with. I'm going to be using my hand to work this seasoning in to this minced beef. People say when you work it too much it becomes chewy. But I'm thinking, how could mincemeat, when you work it more with your hands, how could this be chewy? Let's see. I'm going to work it. I'm going to do my meatballs, and I'm going to show you that when you work this meat with your hand, with your seasoning in, you will see the end result. So I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be working my seasonings in. How do you? I look at the texture that I started with, and I'm going to work it in for a pretty good 5 minutes. Yeah. This is where I'll get all the gum, the coming together of everything. I'm gonna work this in, and I'm gonna come right back to you. Remember to test for your salt intake here. Some people might say they can't, but just touch your hand on the meat and just tip it at the tip of your tongue. You will know if you're there. If you can't, then you'll have to find another way to taste for your salt. I am gonna work this in for a pretty, think I've been less than a minute, so I'm gonna do it for another 4 minutes, and I'm gonna come right back and make those meatballs. So this is how I work it, and this is what it looks like. It's at its finest point. So you work it if you want. If you don't want to, you just do what you want to do. Now I'm gonna be making my meatballs, and this is how easy it is to make my meatballs. You make them to the size that you want them to make. If you have something like a scoop, you can do that. I do have one too, but my gloves is on and I'm showing you. You can just roll it, cut it around, play around, give your hand a little exercise, and you're gonna have the perfect meatball as you work it. Look at this. Are you on it, Dad? Perfect meatball. We're gonna put it there. We ain't gonna flour them this time. We're gonna just try to do them without flouring because we want to get a stew. We don't want to get our stew too thick because with the peas, and we're gonna put peanuts in. So you make your meatballs how you want to work, how you want to make them. Perfect meatballs. When I'm through, I'll come back to you. So right here I have 2 sets of meatballs. We did them in 2 sets. We did these and we left them to sort of flash freeze so they are firm. These are a bit soft because we did not leave them to freeze, okay? So we can freeze these and then do something with them at a later date. Now my oil is here and it's been preheated, and I'm gonna give it another minute or 2. My peas is here. You see I have a nice color peas, and it is not all the way cooked through. It's just waiting on the meatballs. But we are gonna be browning off or frying off these meatballs. See, I have a little moisture inside my pot there. So I think at this time I can start adding my meatballs, and I'm gonna be frying them. Could be the oil could be a little more hot, so I could turn up a flame. So guys, what you want to do is make sure that you flash freeze your balls, your meatballs. See, they're firm in there. So we're gonna give it a little more time to preheat some more because they're coming from the fridge, from the freezer, and then we're gonna come back. So you want to put them there, and our pot seems as if you can hold all of these. Now you don't want to be frying these on too much of a high heat. Medium. You're gonna fry them and let them get really brown, you know, from side to side, and as they brown up they will become firm, because we are going to frying alone will not cook them to the core. We're going to add them to the peas too, put a little stuff, some peanuts, and then we are going to have our meatballs in red peas too. We are going to fry these, and I like, you know, really slow, you know, until we get them brown on one side, and then we turn. I told you, you know, family, I always encourage you, go slow. When you're making your home cooked meals, go slow. Go slow. The slower, the better, the more you enjoy your meal. Next clip. So cooking family, you see our meatballs have been browning up really nice, and they're almost ready to remove from our pot now.
So slow, and you get them like that. You don't want to have them, you know, on too much of a high heat. No, right on over here, we have our peas that have been half cooked. You know the norm. I start mashing some of my peas against the side of the pot. This is the method I use to start building my stew. My flame is under my pot. This is hot water, of course, because you know in a kitchen, as we start cook, hot water we say. All right, so we're cooking a stew, and as with any most Jamaicans, you know we have to put in our peanuts. So not a lot, so I have my little dough for my peanuts. You're gonna drop them in there like that. That's how we do it. This is what I'm doing, and I'll catch you in the next clip. So now we are on to our stew. So our peanuts are in. We're gonna start flavoring up now. These are green scallions. Yeah, cut them how you want to. We just cut them like that this time. A little piece of ginger. Maybe this is too much. Few pimento seeds. Yeah. We're gonna put in some green thyme, and of course we left our cream of the crop with Scotch bonnet. Gonna put some carrots in just for, you know, just for presentation, just to make it have that pretty look. You see it? Yeah, it's not the traditional stew peas with the pigtail and salt beef, so we just put that in there. And you can put this in your regular pigtail to give it a gig. Nothing is wrong. Okay, we're gonna put some garlic powder. Fresh garlic could be no problem, but yeah, if you have garlic powder, you put it on. You could have still put a little garlic powder and a piece of fresh garlic. Gonna go get now, you see, we have our meatballs, them all out and all of that. So what we're gonna do, we'll make that start cook, come together, and then in the next clip we'll be adding the meatballs. So you see we are thickening up, we're coming to come. Find a little pepper, not so promising, but nevertheless, remember we are flavoring up our stew, so I'm gonna go ahead also and put a little of the Jamaican mukbang and vlog, our dry jerk seasoning. It has a beautiful, really beautiful flavor and strong, so just go low. This can serve you for the whole year. Get our flame down. Want to taste now if we have our stew at the right flavor. We have to taste this thing here, you know. Yeah, and we have one. So at this point, it's time to get our meatballs in, because it's gonna cook and come together in the stew. Now that we have flavored up our stew, we're gonna put our meatballs right in it, and we're gonna put them in very gently, one at a time. We're gonna let them stay in there, and each time we come to stir, we're gonna be just gentle. They won't fall apart though, but still be gentle. Right? So now that you put them in there, get your flame up a bit. We're gonna stew down now. So you come, you're gonna get that rigorous stir, but try. Look here. Put back away your meatballs. Put your spoon to where there isn't any, and you are gonna put that rigorous stir, turning around, and see they're holding up in the stew. So we'll catch you in the next clip. Okay family, so we are stewing down, and our meatballs, they are holding their own. Okay, so we're gonna put in some tomato paste. You could put ketchup, you could put some stewed tomatoes, you could have just chopped some tomatoes fine. I'll say preferably you peel them and just add it to it and let it cook down in there. So this is where it's at. This tomato paste is gonna take it to another level with a little more flavor, but also most of all a more prettier color. Let's take our time. Remember the meatballs are in there, so you just want to dissolve. Yeah, it's gonna take it, and you're gonna continue stirring until you get that desired richness, that desired peas, stew consistency. Remember to spice up, flavor up, not spice, flavor up your stew. You saw how I flavored up my meatballs, so you want to flavor up the stew, that when with that flavor from the meatball and it eats that flavor with the stew, you're gonna be just, I'll catch you in the next clip where I'll have some plate up. just for you. Your stew is up to you. From my kitchen to yours. From my Jamaican kitchen to your family table, to your palate, and most of all to your stomach. It is meatball in red pea stew, done just for you. Remember to make sure you're subscribed when you do subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell. Remember to make sure that you press the option that says all. Remember to look in the description of this and all my other videos and lives, and all the info that you need, we will get on to you. You can get on to me right there. Remember to support our Patreon page. Thanks to all my patrons, my most newest patron. Thank you so much. You know yourselves. Thank you. Videos that are on Patreon, you'll never see them on the YouTube page. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Jammas Day #1.